I genuinely think one of the worst pieces of advice young people are given is that they need to always be in a relationship. I believe that mindset just sets them up for failure. Why is that if you're in your late teens or even your early 20s and you are a single person by choice, people always try to make you feel like you're missing out on something or you're behind in life? It's almost like they're trying to make you think that there's something wrong with you for choosing not to be in a relationship as a young person. And we can see this everywhere. For example, social media just makes it look like everybody is in a relationship. Even the movies that we watch make it seem like our teenage years are supposed to be one big love story or one big rom-com or something. And they always try to portray it as if you are not dating anybody as a young person, you need to ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Am I the weird one? Is there something I'm doing wrong? But actually, I think that for most people, dating early will actually do more harm than good for them. Now, before you start typing that angry comment to disagree with me, I'm not saying that relationships are bad in any way. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I think too many people make relationships the center of their life before they have even figured out who they are as a person. Now, let me explain what I actually mean. I don't think most people actually want to be in a relationship. They just want the validation and all the benefits that come with being in a relationship. I think a lot of young people confuse wanting a relationship with wanting to feel chosen or wanting to feel needed by somebody. They do not necessarily want the responsibility that comes with dating somebody. They just want somebody to text at night, somebody to fall asleep on the phone with, somebody to post online, basically someone that makes them feel attractive or somebody to prove that they are lovable. And if we're being honest, somebody that they can just crack, because everybody's just overly freaked out these days. And because of that, I actually think people get into relationships for all the wrong reasons. I've also been guilty of this in the past, of course. There were times where I would just intentionally be flirting with girls, trying to date them, not because I wanted to date them because I loved them or anything, but just because it was fun. I saw it as like I don't know how to explain it. It was kind of like an addiction for me. I was obsessed with getting girls to like me, getting them to become emotionally attached to me. Then I'll just leave them halfway, then go find another one. I know I'm an asshole for saying it, but like, I'm being honest. This is how I was back then, and I'm just now starting to realize that I'm starting to intentionally change my ways. One thing I noticed is that people who had the same mindset as me, they usually got into relationships for either of the following reasons. Either they were looking for a relationship because everyone around them was dating, or they were just scared of being alone. They had this fear of being alone, or they were just pressured by social media, and maybe they were also looking for happiness in another person rather than finding happiness within themselves. And honestly, among all these reasons, the one I can resonate with the most is looking for happiness in another person instead of finding it in yourself. I genuinely think that was why I kept on jumping from girl to girl looking for relationships, because I genuinely was not happy with myself. So I just tried to use somebody else to fill in the void. If you can relate to this, you need to start, bro. Or maybe this is not the one you can relate to. Maybe you can relate to the fear of being alone. There's nothing wrong with being single, bro. There's nothing wrong with being alone. And if you are pressured to be in a relationship because everyone else is dating, then that's not a valid reason either. Let me ask you this. If nobody around you was dating, would you honestly still be looking for a relationship right now? And if your answer is no, then that just proves my point. And that's exactly why I'm saying so many relationships start off for the wrong reasons. But let's say your intentions are completely genuine. Let's say you're in love with this person. Let's say you actually want to be with this person. I still think there's another problem that people do not talk about enough. And that is the biggest reason for me why I think young people should not just rush into relationships without taking this into account. And that is time, the time factor. I think people really underestimate how much time a relationship actually needs. They underestimate how much time accumulates when you're talking to somebody every day, when you're always thinking about going out or planning dates, or the random unplanned arguments that you have with your partner, or the random miscommunication, or just genuinely trying to make somebody's happiness the center of your attention. Even before your own happiness, you just be thinking about them 24/7, and that is honestly tiring. While not all of the things I mentioned are like necessarily bad in a relationship, I do think that they will cost you a lot of time. And time is something that you cannot afford to waste, because at this stage of your life, let's be honest, time is your most valuable asset. Because in your late teens, your early 20s, you are the freest you will ever be in your life. These are like the freest years you will ever have, because you don't have things like mortgage, you don't have kids probably, you have fewer responsibilities overall, because the older you get, the more responsibilities you're going to have. So isn't it wiser to spend your time doing things that will actually benefit you? Time is limited, bro, but for now, you have have fewer responsibilities than you ever have, and you should be putting that time into building your future instead of trying to maintain a relationship. A lot of young relationships, a lot of high school relationships, they're not going to lead to marriage. I mean, there are exceptions, but most of them are not going to lead to marriage. So why are you still trying to pursue an endeavor that is doomed to fail from the start? For somebody like me who values my time, I am actively trying to avoid relationships right now because I'm actively trying to build wealth. I'm trying to build my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get better at editing, trying to get better at making videos, talking on camera. Every hour I spend in building skills, and I'd rather much be doing that than having a 3-hour argument over text with some girl because I didn't reply to a text, or I didn't pick her call fast enough, or I talked to another girl or something. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? I cannot deal with that right now. I don't have the energy for it. And in reality, we all have so much energy we can expend in a day. Like, it's so limited. So why are you expending your energy daily in things that do not matter in the long run? Another thing I think that most people do not talk about is the fact that as young teenagers and as young adults, you are still changing so much at this age. Like, the version of you today is probably not going to even recognize yourself 5 years from now, because by then your goals would have changed, your beliefs would have changed, your standard of living, your career even would have changed, and sometimes maybe even your personality would have changed. So why are people trying to make permanent decisions while they are still undergoing personal construction? Like, you're still growing as a person. Why are you trying to decide who your life partner is going to be at freaking 17? It's like decorating a house before the walls have even been built. Do not get me wrong, I know some couples do grow together, like from high school, from college. I know a lot of high school sweethearts who got married, but that's, if we're being honest, they are the exception. Most people do not have that story, and that's okay. People genuinely outgrow each other. I honestly believe that dating is better when your life already has a sense of direction. You shouldn't be getting into a relationship if your life is a mess. A relationship should not be the thing that gives your life purpose, honestly. It should complement a life that already has some sort of purpose. If you do not know where you're going as a person, especially as a man, how do you expect somebody to walk beside you? How do you expect to lead someone in marriage or something, or in a relationship? A lot of ladies say they want a man with ambition. So why are you trying to lead somebody when you don't even know where you're going? It's pointless. Like, you have to genuinely build yourself up and become the man or become the person that you are proud of first before trying to even get into a relationship. Like, personally, for me, the reason why I work out, the reason why I go to the gym, I always say this, is so I can look at the mirror and turn myself on. wait, pause. You know what I mean? Like, I want to look at the mirror and be like, damn, I did that. That's my hard work. So yeah, as a person, you cannot overemphasize the importance of developing yourself, getting in shape, building confidence, developing discipline, even making money or finding hobbies. You can never overestimate personal growth, because when all is said and done, when you've done all this and you're genuinely fulfilled by your own life, you stop seeking for attention. You stop seeking for validation from other people. You stop desperately searching for someone else to complete your life, because you're already contented with yourself. You love yourself so much. You love your life. You're confident in your own energy, that you're not seeking a woman's approval. You do not need a woman to complement your life. And ironically, that's usually when healthy relationships come. That's when the girls start coming around you, because you've built your life to a certain extent and you're confident with yourself that when you walk around, you exude this aura, you exude this confidence that usually attracts people. And that's when your healthiest relationships can be formed. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that every young relationship is doomed to fail. That's not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is that some people may meet at a young age and they may stay together forever. That's amazing if they do. I'm genuinely happy for them, but I do not think they are the norm. I think they are the exceptions, because most people will never experience that. Most high school sweethearts will never get married. They'll never even speak to each other after high school. That's what I'm saying. As a young person, you must make decisions that will better your life in the long run. At the end of the day, if dating happens naturally for you and your partner, I mean, it's cool, it's fine. Don't listen to what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that I don't think dating should be your biggest priority at this age, especially if you're below 20. I don't think that should be your biggest priority. I honestly think you should spend like your younger years investing into yourself, becoming more interested, more disciplined, more financially stable, and emotionally mature. I generally think you should spend that time building a life that you're actually proud of, because eventually, definitely, you're going to meet somebody, you're going to find the right one for you. And when you do, wouldn't you rather introduce them to the best version of yourself instead of a version that you are still trying to figure out? You're still trying to build a life for yourself. Wouldn't you rather they meet the completed version rather than a prototype? Well, that's just my opinion, I guess. I'd love to hear if you all agree or disagree.